Hello everybody, it's Cape Rugby TV time, and of course it's all about the score. Western Province Club Rugby 7s at the moment. Very exciting, nice to have you along, and yeah, we'll be speaking to some interesting guests this evening, so stick around as we take a look at a whole bunch of games in Western Province Club Rugby. Thanks to our sponsors on board with us here today, of course Direct Access, your financial services partners, Score Energy Drinks. As you know, they're on board with the Western Province Club Rugby Score 7s, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, Yes Electrical down on Voortrekker Road, and of course Dulux Maitland and Intercape. These are our partners at Cape Rugby TV. Let me introduce you to my panel this evening, Mr. Danny Jones. Danny, nice to have you back.
It's good to be here, JP, and looking forward to the chat on 7s.
And let me bring in my other panel member, Maxi Stoffels. Maxi, haven't seen you on the show for a while.
Hi, JP. No, it's an absolute pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we're looking forward to speaking to you tonight and finding out what you've been up to.
Yes, JP. It's good.
Yeah, lekker. Danny, the Score 7s at the moment, it's a whole different ball game. I mean, we're used to playing in a league structure where you've got organized fixtures and that. At the moment, you're running on close on 50 games, at least 50 different teams at one venue. This must be a handful at Western Province.
It is, JP. First and foremost, we want to thank all our clubs for participating in the biggest and longest 7s competition going
Have we
anywhere
worked
in the
this
world.
out yet? Do we know yet? Is it the world's biggest 7s, do you think?
I think so, JP. It's the world's biggest based on the number of teams and the number of weeks. I think that's the uniqueness of the situation. 7s are normally done over a weekend and it's finished. But we have a component where we have a league structure. And then on the final day, where with the top 16 goes into the knockout and then they play each other. So all 48 clubs have an opportunity to get into the, let's call it, the Super 16. And then obviously win the various cup, plate, bowl, shield, and
the whole story.
The whole story.
It's exciting, yeah. Maxi, how long have you been involved with the 7s now? We know that you're now coaching at Brackenfell. How many? I mean, you guys, of course, ended last year in the plate final.
Yes. I've been involved with the 7s since 2016 with Belleville.
Okay.
And we had a good year that year. We won the competition.
Yes, I remember.
And, yeah, it's fun memories. And
that was, of course, the first year at Goodwood.
First day at Goodwood,
I remember the night, actually.
Yes.
Your guys were going crazy on the night with shaking, Score, energy drinks, pouring it all over me. It was...
Yeah, we brought about 1,000 spectators also. So, yeah, that was always special with the spectators. Yeah. And it's a good platform for the guys to showcase their skills. And we're quite fortunate to have this in our province.
Yeah. So what I mean, you've been involved with at Brackenfell in the 15-man's rugby. Now you're coaching the 7 side. I think second year running now. Eh?
Yes, exactly. We're building well, and we have a lot of young players this year. Trying to get the processes in place. We didn't have a good week last week, but we slowly but surely going to build on it.
All right, well, we'll take a look at your results, and Mr. Jones can give his opinion on whether or not you performed or not.
Most definitely.
Yeah, we're not sure, Danny. Have you got a benchmark for teams, or do you just look at everybody and say, just go and have a good time?
Look, there are teams that have a 7s flavor. And there are other teams that are new to 7s, and then you have those guys that are in it to enjoy themselves. So you know, and I do think that everyone is a winner. Sport is about participating. Yes, not everybody wins in the end, but the winners are those who participate. So my focus on this is the participation, and the teams at the end, that's about the bonus in the situation. I'm
always wondering, how do you guys measure that? Because you've got so many clubs you have to administrate. Like, how do you measure the success of a club? You know, anyway, we'll get into that a little bit later. Folks, right, we've got a handful tonight. Tiger Burger up with the games that we're going to look at, and we'll show you all the different pools. There's 12 or 13 teams in pools A, B, C, D. All of them were out at, of course, out at CPT on the weekend. So the show takes a different flavor now. We take on the 7s rugby flavor. And as you know, 7s rugby is probably the most exciting, fan entertaining form of rugby that we have. It really is good fun. So just to quickly tell you which teams we're going to look at tonight, and I'll show you the different logs and, of course, all of the results. Tygerberg, False Bay, Marties and Hamlets, Hands on Arts and Elsie's, Paarl and Brackenfell, Kelsriver and UWC, Visante Krol and Morningstar, there's a game for you, Strand United and Franschhoek. So in this, we've got a couple of humdiggers. And we're also going to talk to you about the big derby that's coming up this weekend. Albions are up against Paarl Rangers, and would you know both of those teams are more than 100 years old. That takes place in the Paarl region this weekend. So let's get the ball rolling. We'll take a look at our first match. It was Tygerberg up against False Bay, and of course Tygerberg went on to play against Lamotte and All Saints, and False Bay went on to play against Blue Stars and Macassar. We'll tell you where they ended in the log after day one. But let's take a look at the first match highlights there. Tygerberg against False Bay. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. Right, there we go. Our first result then on the scoreboard, Tygerberg beating False Bay. Danny, that looked like a pretty close game, 14-10 against Tygerberg. They are the defending champions. They'll be happy to get the ball rolling so soon.
No, it was good for the defending champs to be there. False Bay also a very good team over the last few years. They've been very competitive. And so, you know, it's two Super League A clubs. And you can see that Sevens gives Tygerberg the edge, but just about.
Yeah.
And it's good because the quality of rugby was, the standard was very high. Yeah. And it's good for our competition.
Maxie, let's bring you into the picture here. Tygerberg went on to beat Lamotte. They went on to beat All Saints. False Bay then went on to beat Blue Stars and Macassar. Belleville, you guys have played against both those sides before. What do you make of the performance of Tygerberg there up against False Bay? Close game, 14-10.
I think Tygerberg is well structured. Yeah. They look at ease when in position. And they play to their strengths, and they're well coached also. And of course they have a lot of flair, and they make it actually look so easy when they're on the ball. And especially I watched them play on Saturday. Their work rate off the ball is impressive. The way the guys work off the ball, and that gives them the edge in tight games. So they will go far in this competition.
All right. Well, that's saying a lot. So do you think that? Well, we'll see where it all goes. I know it's a long way. Danny. This is the nice thing about the Sevens rugby is it's a long journey, and you never know where it's going to end.
JP, the focus is everybody, all 48 has an opportunity, and to play in the last week. That's the focus. And this is not a sprint; it's a marathon. Yeah. You know, so you can lose your first 3 games, you can still come back, and be competitive and play in the Super 16s.
Right. So, long way to go. We've got a whole lot of matches on the cards. Folks, don't forget you can win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, all right? Score is, of course, the primary sponsor to the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens, and you'll know then that a lot of the teams are wearing Score jerseys. So look closely, because the clubs at Western Province were actually able to design their own club rugby jersey. Absolutely unique. I mean, Danny, that's fantastic to see the different designs. It's a whole creative approach. I mean, that's great for the clubs.
It is, JP, and I'm amazed at some of the designs, so well done to them.
Yeah.
It gives them, this issue of inclusivity. So it shows you that Sevens is about innovation. That's the whole thing, and it gives and for creating good for players creating good opportunities. So the innovation and creativity of Sevens, we decided to take it off the field too, and giving clubs, maybe there's a creative designer sitting somewhere in the club, an opportunity.
I'm thinking that the clubs here have an opportunity to sell extra jerseys to the fans. You can have a whole supporters club full of club rugby jerseys made up of your creative. Anyway, those are just my fun ideas.
Well, JP, there is an opportunity if you're looking at small business development and things like that.
Yeah.
There is something. If somebody in a club has a great a vision for designing and to make these jerseys, there's an opportunity for them to sell it to the spectators.
Maxie, did you guys also, Brack and Fall, you had a hand in the design there?
We actually left it to the guys to decide.
Right,
so,
really?
Yeah, luckily most of us decided on the same jersey, and it's actually nice that the teams can personalize their own jersey. And there were a couple of guys that wanted to go with outrageous designs, but luckily we could just margin it down.
All right, folks, we're going to take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll take a look at Marty's up against Hamlets. We've also got some fantastic interviews during the show this evening. Unimill's Adrian Roberts will be talking to us, All Saints Road in November. Hamlets team manager Cleveland Peterson, Frank Hooks, Emil Krotz, and of course, one of our regular panel members, Morgan Newman. He's, of course, coach at Hamilton's, and we spoke to him last week. In fact, we were hoping to have Monty Dumont and Morgan Newman on the show today. They just couldn't make it. But we'll catch up with them with some behind-the-scenes interviews. So make sure that you don't go away. Of course, don't forget that Score engineering competition. That's also on the cards. We'll see you after the break. Right, welcome back, everybody. Cape Rugby TV time. Of course, a big look at the Sevens this weekend. And just a reminder, Albion's up against Paarl Rangers this weekend. That's going to be a bit of a derby match. Danny, those two teams they're more than 100 years old.
Albion's is 100 this year, and Rangers is 105. So, being competitive in the Paarl area, I'm sure they've seen many a derby. And, Rangers had a very good year in Paarl. They were runners-up in the league and runners-up in the knockout. Albion's took an opportunity for promotion relegation, and they decided to play in the Northern League, and they were top in the Northern League, and they ended top with regard to the championships, which now means they are promoted to Super C. So well done to both of them.
So you got two serious teams here then. I mean, this is not going to be just a casual game. These are two very good sides playing against each other.
It is two very good sides, and I'm sure it gives Rangers having lost to Lower Paarl, both on the on the top 8 and the league, it gives them an opportunity to take a big scalp, because
they're going to want to bounce back.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, folks, just in a quick look at the poster that came in from the guys at Albion's and in the Paarl region, at least in Paarl Rangers. It's a 20 Rand entry fee for the adults, 10 Rand for scholars, and there is, of course, vehicle parking, 50 Rand. Of course, that's kindly sponsored or supported. The day is supported there by LR Computers and Peril Sports and Resaf Nutrition, as well as Ashley's Family Restaurant. All right, so a number of partners sponsoring and supporting, and this is what we like about sending these posters in. If you send us your event posters, that's how you take advantage of the day. Now you can go to your sponsors, you can tell them, look, you're going to support the day and you're going to be on TV. So great that the guys sent in the poster, as you saw there, and of course, the sponsors getting a little bit of publicity. The day starts pretty early, starts at about 8:30 in the morning. It's going to go on until about 8:30 in the evening, so it's a big derby day. Right, let's move on to our next Sevens Club Rugby fixture. And we were out there when we took a look at Marty's up against Hamlets. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. Right then, it was a win for Marty's, 24-7 over Hamlets. As you know, Marty's are a previous, in fact, they were the first winners of the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens that was held at Tygerberg. Marty's, of course, a very good side. They went on to beat Young Gardens. 26-5, they beat Marty's, at least they beat Van der Stel Evergreens 33-0. And then on the other side, Hamlets losing to Noordlikers 14-10 and beating Young Gardens 21-0. Let's quickly take a look at the logs in Pool C to see where those teams ended up. And there you can see Marty's sitting at number 2 on the log, Helderberg at number 1, and Noordlikers at number 3. Hamlets sitting at number 7. They played 3 games on Saturday. They lost 1, but Marty's with a success rate, 100% success rate there. Danny, you keep talking about conditioning. You think that's what won the game for Stellenbosch?
Most definitely. They were
matches,
stronger.
I mean, all their matches were big wins.
They're stronger in the tackle, and you know their upper body strength, and so they physical when they run at you. You need to tackle them consistently, and there's no doubt about it. Hamlets has the skill and the speed to take them on. I don't think they're as conditioned as the Marty's players, but now that they've qualified for Super A, I do think Gavin will be working on those components of them.
All right. Well, we did manage to speak to Cleveland Peterson. He's the manager at Hamlets. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy.
Nee, dit was so 'n bietjie wisselvallig in die begin. Ons eerste wedstryd vasgeval teen Marty's, maar nadat het ons vir Noordlikers gespeel en ons het 'n wen gekry daar en ons het nou vir Young Gardens ook 'n wen gekry. Ons moet die jong laities ook 'n kans gee om deur te breek. Ons het volgende jaar speel ons Super A, so ons het al die diepte nodig. So dis die bouproses vir volgende jaar ook sodat hulle ook kan regkry. By Sevens is enigiets moontlik. Enige span kan enige team klop op die dag, so jy moet gefokus bly. Want enige team kom hier en dan kom verras jou. En veral die kleiner spanne wat ons dink is kleiner spanne, hulle is nie regtig so klein nie. So as hulle op die dag kom en hulle dis goeie rugby op, kan hulle vir jou verbaas. Ja, die eerste week wisselvallig, maar ons bou daarop en dan kan ons maar kyk hoe ver hierdie kompetisie vir ons laat toelaat om te gaan.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. All right, then the guys still got a little bit of work to do. Hamlets, then nice speaking there to the manager. Maxi, technical matters. Maxi, your feeling there on Stellenbosch and the Hamlets guys?
Of course, the conditioning played a real factor, and I think the Stellenbosch, their style of play, they play for each other, and the urgency on the field makes it easy for them to dominate games. Yeah. And yeah, they're well conditioned. You can see the way they break the tackles and stuff.
Do you think that they bring that? I mean, we know that the Stellenbosch, if you look at Marty's playing in Super League A, they've got a culture of rugby. Everybody's got a culture of rugby, but they seem to have a sort of sense of conditioning and discipline. And do you think they bring that into the sevens?
Most definitely, and I mean, Stellenbosch is actually a trendsetter when it comes to sevens. They actually played in the final also of the universities 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So it makes a big difference being conditioned, being fit, and being able to bring it through in a style of play.
But it's one of those tournaments also, the sevens rugby, that it doesn't matter how good you were in Super League A or B or C. Sevens rugby is a level playing field. Any club can beat any club.
Yeah, and we witnessed that a couple of years ago also, where we had big shocks in the playoff rounds. Yeah. And yeah, it's a level playing field, and you need to be on top of your game every week. You can never get complacent.
Because it's one of those games that, I mean, if we look here at Hamlets, I mean, Danny, you might agree with me. I know they didn't beat Marty's there, but if I look at the guys from Hamlets, and if you give them the ball, you're going to have trouble. They can. Same with Belleville. We see it with a lot of the club rugby sides. Morningstar, Santa Kraal, you play. It doesn't matter if you're Super League A in the main league, Super League B. If the guys love playing running rugby.
No, that's true, JP. But I think Maxwell mentioned a good point in the beginning when he said the important thing of the work off the ball. Now, your clubs who plays at a higher division, they put a lot of emphasis on that in 15s, and that obviously carries over into sevens. Yeah, yeah. Now the clubs playing in the regions, and that because of the lack of that component, the working of the ball component, that comes to bite them in the sevens. Right, but any club who works on that component of the game too, the off the ball work, when they don't have the ball, that's when they can make up the difference, because that's an important component.
Well, there you go, folks. I suppose you can't play running rugby if you don't have the ball. You've got to work for the ball. I love that word, work rate. What did you call it?
Off the ball, yes.
Off the ball work rate. Yes. All right, folks, let's take a look at what happened between Kales River and UWC in Pool D. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. Two Super League A sides on the park there. Kales River against UWC. Both of them, well, Kales River now in Super League A, put it that way. But they've got a little bit of Super League A experience as well, though. So, are you seeing the off-the-ball work rate there for Kales River and UW's, Maxi?
Yeah, it was a close game. I think Kales River took their chances, and they actually went through the phases a lot. They when in possession, they look well after the ball. And I think UWC will look at that game thinking they could have won it, but Kales River did the work off the ball.
Yeah, right. So Kales River walking away with a 19-7 win there over UWC. They went on to beat Young Stars 45-0. They drew with Langa 12-all. And then UWC on the other hand, 33-12 over Blakes and with a 38-5 win over Retreat. Let's quickly take a look at the log in Pool D so that you can see where the guys ended up. Hamilton's then are sitting at the top of on top of the pile there in Pool D. Kales River, the Kayla boys sitting already in the second on the log, followed by Balha and UWC. Right, so UWC and Kales River, of course, are sitting then at number 2 and 4 on the log. We managed to catch up with some of the folks on the side of the field there. We spoke to Adrian Roberts from Unimil and Roden November from All Saints. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy.
Well, as it is, we played 3 games already. It's a nice, beautiful day out here, and the wind is playing a role as well. But I find the day very, very, very nice. And the teams that's coming up here today, they show up that it's all about the fun, the spirit. It's all about the game, and it's a nice vibe at the field. You know, we're not going in with the mentality where we say, you know, it's a run over, walk over. Teams is coming up to win as well. They're coming to compete on each level, no matter if you play in the Super League A, Super League B, or down there. The guys is coming out, they have fun. They can win, any team can win at the end of the day. That's all about the sport. Sport is the win at the end of the day. But as guys playing in the Super League A, we're taking it out game by game, step by step. That's how we building up momentum to compete against any other team in Super League A.
Die dag is lekker en as 'n bietjie windig, maar met die wind as die dag so lekker, so vir die vibe is lekker, is lekker entertaining. Ons is nou die derde jaar hier so by die Sevens. Ons die derde jaar goed gedoen. Ons begin die derde jaar nou goed te doen. En die ander 20 guys kom lekker, die coaches kom lekker bring lekker vir hulle leer. En ons leer elke game na game. Er is nog baie hoop, ouens moet nog nie nou opgenie. Kyk, die league was ook lang geweest en die guys het maar nou weer begin, laas ek begin oefen. So daar nog hoop en ons moet aanhou en dan sal ons die wen kry eventually.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy. Right, so we're just having a little bit of a discussion off-air discussion here with Maxi, Maxi Stoffels. Maxi, it's nice to have you on the show. We've been, like I said, how is the Stoffels family doing?
Oh, we're doing good. My other 2 brothers they're not in rugby anymore, but they're trying to stay active.
All stalwarts of Belleville Rugby
all the way,
Club,
yes.
eh?
Still go out on a Saturday and support the club.
Yeah,
and,
that's great. That's
great. That's good.
Right. Well, it seems to me like Belleville's... Danny, is this a thing that every club has got like a whole family structure behind it? At Belleville, it's the Paarwaters and the Stoffels, and at Vineyards, it's the Murats, and there's a couple of clubs that are family orientated.
JP, in all our clubs, we find, maybe not the university clubs as such, but in all community clubs, even Hamilton's and all, it's built around families.
Yeah.
So go look at the history, look at the heritage. Families brought them to where they are today.
That's how it starts.
Yeah.
It starts and it evolves from there. All right, Maxi, we're going to take a look here now at Brackenfell. You guys took a massive hiding here against Paul. I'm just joking, 5-0. But let's first take a look at the results.
Yes.
We'll see. Then we'll take a look at the log. It was Paul up against Brackenfell. I'm just teasing Maxi here, folks. It was a very close game. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour pharmacy. All right, then, when they're Maxi 5-0 for Brackenfell, but you guys then, of course, didn't have the greatest of days. You went down to Durban 31-12 and you went down to Kylemore 21-17. You going to turn it around?
Most definitely. We had a chat last night. The guys are quite serious on turning the results around for this week. Paul were on top of the game the past weekend. I mean, there's a couple of key players there that really runs the show for them and just keeps them composed in that 40 minutes, where we have a lot of under-20s in our system for this year. So we're building, most definitely building for the future.
Well, I'm going to bring Danny, I'm going to bring you into it, and it's interesting to see, we speak about Super League A. We always assume that Super League A has got, like you say, the off-the-ball work rate here, but Paul, also a Super League A club, then ended up going down to Goodwood, 29-7, and then beating Fora 17-5.
JP, a lot in this, besides the structures and that, a lot has to do with momentum. If you win your first game, you boost. If you lose your first game, you're a bit under pressure and you try silly things. But the teams must realize this is a marathon. It's a 3-week or 4-week program first before you get into finals. So it's not about who's top on the first week. It's who's top on the last week before the Super 16s.
It's always interesting to see that it takes 1 or 2 games for the clubs to gel. As players, you need to get your hands loose and your feet moving.
Yeah, and it's also important that you can build on your previous games and that you not make the same mistakes that you did last week. And I think most clubs will have a look at the results of the first week and build on it, because it gets tougher the longer the competition goes on. And I'm sure the guys that stays on top of the game will end up in the top 16.
All right, well, let's see what happens. But let's quickly take a look at the log then in Pool B and see where Paul and Brackenfell ended up. And there you see Durban dominating in Pool B after the first round. They played 4 games. Hampton Hearts, Goodwood, Kylemore, Franschhoek. And the matches that we're looking for there, Brackenfell sitting at number 10 on the log and Paul at number 6. But as Mr. Jones said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. By the way, if you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, and you'll see everybody's wearing Score on the day, 33090. All you need to do is get your mobile phone handy right now, pull that out, and just tell us who is the official partner to the Western Province Club Rugby Score 7s, and SMS the word, here's the clue, SMS the word SCORE to 33090. 33090, congratulations to last week's winner, Kevin Williams. Kevin, somebody from Cape Rugby TV is going to be in touch with you, and you walk away with a case of Score energy drinks. And by the way, of course, you can get your Score energy drinks at the Western Province Club Rugby 7s, as well as your bash shoes. Don't forget, of course, the bash shoes kiddie zone is at the 7s, so if you're going to go down there this Saturday, take the kids along. They're going to have a great time. We'll see you after the break. Don't go away. More 7s rugby on the cards at Western Province, the world's most entertaining style of rugby, 7s rugby. Remember, later in the year, of course, it's the Cape Town 7s. Everybody gets into 7s rugby this time of year. Fisantakar were up against Morning Star in Pool D. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour pharmacy. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour pharmacy. Full time then, Morning Star 12-0 over Visanta Kraal, and then Visanta Kraal going on to lose against Langa 14 points to 10. They went on to beat Young Stars 21-0, and then they lost to Hamilton's 12-0. Morning Star on the other hand beating Young Stars 31-0, similar kind of scenario to Visanta Kraal. And then Morning Star went down to Hamilton's 33 points to 5. Let's quickly take a look at the log in Pool D before I go to Mr. Danny Jones from Western Province Rugby. And there you see it, Hamilton's at the top of the pile, Kells River Belhar UWC, and there you see Morning Star at number 6, and Visanta Kraal are at number 8 on the log. Of course, Morning Star have a slight advantage there because they only played 3 games at least, versus Visanta Kraal's 4 games. Danny, what a derby match though. These two clubs are 2 minutes away from each other. I think it's as close as you're going to get as a derby at the Sevens.
No, JP, I must congratulate both teams for the way they played, the energy they brought to the game and the passion, and you could see it was a derby game. Although Morning Star won in the end, Visanta Kraal could also, with the bounce of the ball going another way, it could have been them. But well done to both teams. They were very competitive, and all goes well for them.
But Manny, Maxie, you've got to be careful, of course, when you're playing rugby. You've got to, if derby matches, you've got to keep the emotions out of the game and focus on the game.
Yeah, like we saw just now on the clip, the game was played with a lot of passion. Yeah. You could see how the guys were attacking. They were ferocious on attack, and when they got the opportunities, they ran it off well. But yeah, you could see also the support base that watched the game there on Saturday. The community came out to support their team. Yeah.
Well, that's what it is. It's all about supporting your team, the community coming out. That's why there's so many fans at Sevens Rugby. Very exciting. Hands on hearts, we're up against LC Srafir. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour pharmacy. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks and MChem 24-hour pharmacy. Right then, folks, before we go anywhere, we've got to take a look at one little moment in that match. That was, of course, Hands and Hearts up against LC Srafir there, 38 points to 7. Hands and Hearts were on a breakaway try there. Let's just quickly take another look at this fan moment. All right, not a total crash, but nevertheless the pole protectors coming down there. End result was the try was scored and Hands and Hearts walking away then 38 points to 7 over LC Zafir. Maxi, Hands and Hearts goes on to beat Fora 34-7. They beat Strand 19-5. They beat Kylemore 40 points to 5. This is Hands and Hearts food, this. Soos hulle sê, dis hulle kosti.
Dis hulle kosti, yeah. JP, if there's a team to look out for this year, it's most definitely Hands and Hearts. They're well rounded in terms of their style of play, and obviously they're well known for or renowned for being a good sevens club. And they play with a lot of flair. So I think the teams playing Hands and Hearts should look out for them this year, and be prepared.
All right, Mr. Jones, anything from your side on Hands there? Good side.
No, Hands has always been great in hand, ball in hand.
Yeah. Right, folks, we're going to take a quick ad break. When we come back from a break, we'll take a look at the match between Strand United and Franschhoek. And we'll also be speaking to Franschhoek's Emil Krotz and Hamilton's Morgan Newman. Back in a sec. Don't go away. Right, welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV, and we're looking at the score. Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. Of course, this time of the year, we move from the league matches into the sevens, and it's just exciting rugby. Strand United were up against Franschhoek. Let's take a look at this match as we see who is going to end up where in Pool B. It is still a marathon, as Mr. Jones said, as opposed to a sprint. See what happened. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-Hour Pharmacy. Franschhoek then walking away 27-7 win over Strand United. Let's quickly take a look at the logs in Pool B and see where the teams ended up. Durban at the top, as you saw before. Hands and Hearts, Goodwood, Kylemore, Franschhoek. There you see Franschhoek at number 5, Strand United at number 8. Mr. Jones, Goodwood seems to be on form here because Strand United's next game was against Goodwood. They're winning there 24-0. Strand United then went down to Kylemore. They went with a win over Silvertree. Strand United's going to have a little bit of work to do.
Definitely. They will have to, they're in the same boat as Maxwell. You know, they have to come back. As I said, the sprint is the game, the competition is the marathon. So they will have to come back and just take it from there. Forget about the past Saturday. Focus on the Saturday coming up.
Maxi, Franschhoek will be happy with that result though, 27-7.
No, well, most definitely. I think Franschhoek also well-balanced team. And if you have pace, if you can keep up in position, then you should win your games.
I'm looking forward to a couple of the derby matches that we're going to see because I know that Super League B was a pool of death this year. And we're going to see Kuilsrivier and Franschhoek and Helderberg and a few teams there, Danny, that are going to come out to look for some retribution.
Definitely, JP, there's no doubt about it. But I also need to commend Goodwood.
Yeah.
They seem to be the surprise package. Not renowned for sevens as such, but on the first week they showed their teeth and their metal.
Their teeth, hulle tande gewys. Okay, then my personal joke. We managed to speak there to Emil Krotz at Franschhoek, and of course Morgan Newman, who's Hamilton's coach. See what the boys had to say, and then we'll close it up. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy.
As jy begin, so dinge lyk maar nog 'n bietjie krapperig, maar hulle sê mos jou eerste game of die eerste dag gaan maar so, maar soos die tyd aangaan, sal dinge beter gaan. En dit lyk exciting. Ek het my ingestel want die manne is geneig om te vra, maar waar is die fotograaf en so. Ek het tyd gemaak vir hulle vandag by die sewes. Heel nuwe manne in, so dit lyk exciting en ek sien uit na die volgende paar weke wat voor lê. Die eerste game het nie so goed gegaan nie. Tweede game het ons die mas opgekom. So ons sien uit na die derde game en dit is teen Elsiersrivier. So ons manne is reg.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy. Right, there we go. Emil Krotz, of course, favorite here with us, always sending us pictures and always putting things on Facebook, and great to see that kind of support activity at club rugby level. Folks, Sevens Rugby is all about fan entertainment, and of course the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens is kindly supported by African Bank. And African Bank are now on board with the Western Province Rugby Football Union and Club Rugby. And for those of you that don't know, you can open up a bank account for yourself and then link that to a handful of individuals that you might want to give cards to. And then somebody else also has their own bank account, almost in effect in a way that they don't have a bank account of their own, but it's linked to your bank account. So we suggest that you go and sign up with African Bank if you need to get yourself a bank account or perhaps someone in the family. But Sevens Rugby is what it's all about. Let's take a look at some of the fans and how much fun they had at the Score Western Province Club Rugby Sevens over the weekend. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy.
You know, that's the fantastic thing about Sevens, you know. I'm just so excited that, you know, we can play, any team can beat any team on the day in Sevens, and it's so great that this is what the Club Rugby Sevens is doing for the community, you know. I mean, guys are coming out on a Saturday, the stands are full, you know, all the teams are here, everyone's here to express themselves, play a really good brand of rugby, and cheapers. I mean, if there are any good selectors, any shrewd selectors out there, you should definitely come down and look, because the skill set on display across all the leagues and across all the teams has been second to none. It's so nice for us as Hamiltons to be playing against also, you know, guys in the lower leagues, and they're all giving us a run, and just to show that the amount of talent that exists in club rugby is unbelievable, and it's I mean, it's a testament to the brand of rugby that we're seeing throughout the afternoon.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access Financial Services, Score Energy Drinks, and MChem 24-hour Pharmacy. Right, folks, time for us to call it a day here at Cape Rugby TV. Danny, how fantastic is that? It's our first show. I've got to say, it's been an absolute joy. We obviously can't go through all of the logs and the results on fixtures. We're talking about 80, 90 different fixtures and results, but really special to have the Sevens back in action.
Definitely, JP, to quote ex-Springbok, it gives me chicken pox.
Chicken's box. Maxie, it's been lucky to have you on the show. We hope to get you back over the next few weeks, and of course, off season when we talk about the captain's table, we bring in coaches and that. So don't be a stranger.
Most definitely. And I think for all the clubs, just bring the spectators to CPT on Saturday. Let's have fun, and let's support each other in this format of the game.
It's a lot of fun, Danny, and then of course the derby on the weekend, Albions and Pearl Rangers.
Yes, we wish both teams well. We wish the committees and the fans to enjoy their derby, and well done to Albions in achieving 100 years of rugby.
Yeah, and well done to you guys for putting on the sevens. A tremendous amount of fixtures that you have to. I know the guys behind the scenes in the office have got to really put in the extra hours to work out all these permutations, different pools and different fixtures. So yeah, I suppose we're grateful for that.
Definitely, JP. We acknowledge and appreciate the work that the staff does, for around the sevens.
Yeah. Right, folks, that's a wrap from us then. We'll take a break now, and we'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. We'll see you at CBT on the weekend.